Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I've been seeing all your comments on TikTok asking me for reviews analysis for this one. So today, it's finally happening. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this exclusive discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Now let's not delay any further and jump right into the details.
Now, let's hear directly from our first reviewer about their experience.
This reviewer is quite pleased with this 2Bay network storage device, considering it a strong recommendation that falls just short of perfect. The main challenge encountered was during the initial setup, a process that proved more confusing than anticipated. Our reviewer began by installing a single drive and only later decided to add a second one. This created confusion around how the drives should be formatted, with conflicting information found online regarding terms like JBOD and single drive mode. The nested hierarchy and specific terminology for storage areas were not immediately clear, adding to the initial learning curve. However, a significant positive was the company's technical support. After reaching out for help, a response arrived within a day providing the clear information needed to get everything running correctly. This client suggests that installing both drives from the very beginning would likely make for a much simpler setup experience. For those wondering, the single drive format was the correct choice to make each drive appear as a separate network location, which were then easily mapped as desktop icons for convenient access. Once past those initial hurdles, the experience has been completely straightforward. The user interface, which runs in a web browser, is surprisingly slick and user-friendly. While there are numerous apps available for installation, the lack of clear documentation meant our reviewer had to research them individually, ultimately finding most were geared toward a business environment rather than home use. The primary takeaway is that while the documentation could be greatly improved for users less familiar with network storage, the device itself performs very well. Given its attractive value, it comes highly recommended, and with better instructions, it would easily earn a top rating.
Opening things up, our first reviewer gives us their take.
This reviewer was getting fed up with their Wi-Fi router constantly dropping the connection to an attached USB drive, which prompted the search for a more stable home network storage solution. They decided on this particular NAS after seeing its positive ratings. Getting the unit up and running was a refreshingly simple process. Our reviewer found that after installing the hard drives, plugging the device into the network and power, and running the setup program, it was basically good to go. Transferring files is just as straightforward, offering a couple of convenient options. You can either move files from a computer using the device's own operating system, or for larger transfers from an external drive, you can plug it directly into the USB port on the back of the unit and manage it from there. Despite the smooth initial experience, this client did have a couple of minor gripes. The software required for setup on a computer and the companion mobile app are not officially verified by Microsoft or Google, which triggers a security warning upon installation. While this is unlikely to be a real issue, it's something for more cautious users to consider. Additionally, our reviewer wasn't a fan of being limited to a web browser interface for transferring files from their desktop, expressing a preference for a native drag-and-drop experience. Ultimately, these were just small nitpicks. The client primarily uses this NAS as a multimedia server for their home and takes advantage of its remote access features to stream content to their phone while on the go. For what it is, it works great and serves as a simple, effective network storage device for any user looking for a basic home setup.
Great! Now let's see what our next reviewer has to say about their experience.
This reviewer was initially hesitant about purchasing this network-attached storage (NAS) device. They already owned a more premium NAS unit that they were very happy with, but needed additional storage for archived data and were looking for a less expensive alternative. Our reviewer admitted that this device has a more plasticky feel than their other one, suggesting a difference in build quality. However, they were pleasantly surprised by how well-made and solid it felt, with everything fitting together snugly. What really impressed this client was how much this NAS exceeded their expectations. It performed the task they intended it for and demonstrated the potential for so much more than they even anticipated needing. The reviewer mentioned a potential downside, the limited RAM, which might impact performance for tasks like transcoding, especially for applications like Plex, but they readily acknowledged their inexperience in that area. Overall, this client is extremely happy with their purchase. They felt like they got exceptional value for their money, akin to finding a fantastic deal. It's still early days, and the reviewer admits they need to learn more about potential limitations. However, after using it for a short period, they express a strong positive sentiment toward the device. One point of confusion for the reviewer was the available storage capacity. With 4 TB hard drives configured in RAID 5, they expected to see approximately 12 TB of usable space. However, the NAS is reporting only 10.6 TB. This disparity, while possibly due to different ways of calculating terabytes, did seem significant. Despite this, the client felt that 10.6 TB would likely be sufficient for their needs for the foreseeable future.
And that's a wrap. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you've got thoughts. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.